Kaylee,
Oh, Ginny, I love that you're going to get us started. That is perfect.
Yeah, let me kick you off. So good morning, Ronnie and Yvonne. Question on survey module.
Okay.
Going to the survey
Washington
module.
State, right? Just confirming Washington State.
Washington State, yes, correct.
Let me share here.
I know I can't rename myself on the, not like Zoom.
Okay, go ahead. Oh.
So we have a current survey out for a social event. And if I remember, I think we're able to not just send a reminder via email to take the survey, but also how do we do that for the folks that already took the survey to not get the same message? I feel like I've done
as I've never been able to do that. Let's take a look. I thought unless they've added something new, which survey is it here?
The Mariners game.
Oh, I remember seeing this. Okay, here we go. Oh,
See how there's like a email icon on the far right? I wasn't sure if that was the function or if it's just thanks for taking the survey. Oh, that's the one.
Yeah.
Which we got. You get after you complete the survey, you get the
right. And so, did you set it up as anonymous? Let's look at that.
No.
Okay, so you so it's not set up as anonymous. Like with the events, when you send out an email, you can do it to everyone who's not registered. Let's look in the control panel here. They may have added something in the emailing. I do feel like I may have seen something like that, an option if you're linking to a survey. Let's take a look.
That's what I was thinking, but I was like, was I dreaming that, or I swear I stumbled into it?
There you go. Everyone
there it is. I knew it.
Like, yeah. They add so many things all the time, and you just, which is great. ClubExpress is always improving, and they're listening to people's requests. But sometimes it's hard to keep up with the emails of the improvements. So yes, just go in here and just do a little search for survey, and then it would then it's going to bring all the surveys, the active surveys down, and then you can choose which survey. But I'm going to say, I'm assuming if it's an anonymous survey, you're not going to be able to do that. Even though technically, even an anonymous survey, the ClubExpress can tell you who voted. You can't see who voted, but ClubExpress can. And just keep that in mind if there's ever something that you have to find out something for whatever reason. ClubExpress, if you reach out to them, they can tell you who voted on a unanimous survey, even though they're not supposed to be able to.
Okay, so just to confirm back is you create a regular email just like you would, but instead of the default, you say create a new list, and then it should. How did that pop out?
I eliminated a text type survey, and then that brings up the drop down, and then you want the Mariners one right here, add, and then save.
Okay.
So that one is already in here in this draft here, but I did it to this one. I think I added to this one, so you're going to need to change that.
I see it. Okay, that's perfect. Secondly, so our scholarship ad hoc form, this one's a conundrum for us because I've done a kind of a workaround, but I wasn't sure if there's anything else. It's the scholarship one. So we have an ongoing scholarship application. And so when you go in there, you could view it, you can review it, add a comment. But we don't know if there's any other way to like send back a response to the submitter without doing it manually. You know what I mean? Like
let's look at the communications, see if there's something just like that.
Okay.
So I'll just use this one as the example again. Oops, sorry. where's that draft? This one right here.
Mhm.
I didn't mean to copy it. Sorry about that.
It's okay. No biggie.
There you go. Respondents to a specific ad hoc.
Oh, okay. Boy, same
So-
flavor. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, they
So-
really have added a lot of options. There's still some new options I'd like them to add, but they've added a lot of options from original distribution list options.
So the follow-up question to that, now that we know, because we've been basically using the same ad hoc form over and over again, just to keep adding more so you could see. But if that's the case, when I type in ad hoc, I don't want it to go to like the previous submissions. I just want it for the new one. So it would have a drop down if I don't know, will it be able to do that?
No, you're going to have to exclude. So I think you only had about 15 people that completed that ad hoc. Maybe there's 3 that need to exclude. So, so if you did something, so you're going to need to look at, you're going to have to go hand in hand between the two.
Sure.
You're going to have to look at the people who submitted the ad hoc, run the list. And if you know that there are 3 people you need to exclude, you'll want to exclude them. Now, a caveat to that is in the past, the exclusions have not worked sometimes. So you'll want to definitely, so let's see, let's do one of these ad hoc. And the ad hoc form you're talking about was the scholarship. I'm going to remove this here, add, and save. And this should be, okay, so it's saying it's going to 13, 1 member is refusing. Okay. So I don't know who submitted the ad hoc, but one thing you have to remember is your exclusions have to come after. So you can't do exclude, and then add the ad hoc form. You have to add the ad hoc form and then the exclusions.
Okay.
And then once you've done that, go back and do this again and make sure that that number dropped to make sure that it is actually excluding those people.
Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense. Yeah, totally. Great. Thank you. That totally answers my question.
Is that all, Ginny? Do you have another question? Nope.
I'll think of something later.
All right, Alan, you have your hand up.
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
So we have posted on our website an event for our reverse trade show. I'm with Kentucky, KPPA, and we're running into, if you go to our events calendar and look at our listings for our reverse trade show, we have a sign up board for members, agencies, and then we have a sign up for vendors. Well, members are free because they're the ones actually working the reverse trade show, and then vendors pay based on if they're just doing it all day, if they're going to be a sponsor or anything like that. There's a cost associated. However, we're finding that some of the language is very confusing for the vendors, and a lot of them are registering as members instead of going through the vendor page. And I think it's language that we don't have access to change. So I'm hoping for some help there.
Okay, for some reason, I'm just stuck here. So let's see what happens here.
Okay.
I'm getting delays on ClubExpress pages right now.
Uh-oh. Well, that'll be bad if ClubExpress is down during our office hours right now.
I have the site up. I'm trying to log in. So I do have Kentucky up. So I am able to log in.
Yeah, it looks like maybe There might be an issue with ClubExpress.
Oh, boy.
Let's see. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm getting other sites where I can't click on the tabs in the back end.
Boy.
Well, okay, so we
Yikes.
got it open finally. So let's see. And instead of hitting search and having them all come up and that'll take longer, what is the title? If you give me like the beginning of the title, it'll be a lot quicker to find it.
It is 2025 KPPA Reverse Trade Show.
Okay. So you've got the member registration and the vendor registration, and you're saying that the vendors are clicking on the member to register?
Correct.
And you're wondering what language, what portion of the language are you trying to change?
I see the language when you look at it from it like of a vendor's perspective. If they went in and viewed our events calendar,
Okay.
where does it? Okay.
So is it something on this page right here that you're trying to change? And you know you can change the language of this button, right?
Yes. Click the register now.
Because one thing I was going to say is, you know, maybe it would even make more sense to change, it could possibly make sense to change the button. Maybe you could change it to vendor registration or something like that to make it to even stand out more. But okay, so that button up there acts as an anchor to drop you down here to, and you still have to click. And they're the same language on both buttons. So if you change the language up here in the back, it's going to change it here too, just as an FYI. Okay. So register now, and here's this, is it somewhere here that you're, that people are getting confused?
Somewhere in line it says if you are a member, please log in to access additional potential lower registration fee options.
Yes. Okay, so let's do this. Let's log out of the site. You can't see that. Never mind. I forget that. In Teams. Yes, you're talking about here.
That's correct.
And if down here, register now. Yeah, unfortunately, that is language that is controlled by ClubExpress, and it is not, you are not able to remove it. It is across every single ClubExpress platform or website, and to remove it from yours removes it from everybody's. So they will not do anything with this.
I see.
What I have seen other people, and it's always going to show up right under the title and above about this event. What I have seen people do is add some text here that's, you know, just to clarify, ignore the login. You're not going to be logging in for this, you know, something like that. But unfortunately, you cannot get rid of this.
Okay. All right. I think that's where the confusion is coming in. They think that if they sign up as a member that they go back and look and there is a member login and they log in and log and register for free.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So you could show, right, Yvonne, you could show where to edit about the event, and you could put it in red, you could put it in caps or something to draw the eye, just to say vendors, you know, something like that, disregard or whatever it is. I admit I'm kind of against the putting text in red thing, but just as a example, you could do that just to try to get them to read that red text instead of the highlighted blue box, probably. So
Yeah, you might want to just, you know, like throw a row above the beginning of the about the event, and just throw something in here to make it really obvious that that they're not going to be able to get a lower price by logging in.
Okay. Okay. Very
And
good.
I'm not going to save this, but you saw how I did that. Of course, if you wanted to do something like that, you just put your cursor where you want it. You don't even have to add a box. You're not using boxes here, but if you decided you wanted to add a box of anything, you would just put your cursor where you want to put the box, and then, or the row, I should say. And now you've got 3 separate things, for instance, here where you can put 3 separate little notices or something.
Perfect. Okay. I'll discuss with our registration chair and our vendor recruitment chair and see what language they want to put together there, and we'll add something. Okay. Thank you.
June, you have your hand up.
Yeah, so Ronnie, I'm wondering if that would help us with the issue, changing that register now button, or can,
Yeah.
so Iowa.
Iowa.
So we have our spring meeting. We have people registering 2025 spring meeting, and we are having members not logging in and registering as non-members. I've had 2 people out of the 34 people registered so far that have done that. So Amanda added that red. You can see the nice big red there. But is there something else that we can do to get people, basically they just need to log in. That's all they need to do, but they're not logging in.
Right. And clearly you're charging a lower price for members. So
Yeah.
it's advantageous for them to log in, but they're missing it. This button, like I said, you can change the text, but I'm not sure if that's going to work for you. That is
Fix that.
under the registration here, registration and fees. And then here is the text, register now.
Okay.
But it's going to be
Or both. It's just
limited
gonna...
on characters.
Mhm.
So, I don't think you could fit something like, something like, what would help you would be something like members, make sure you log in or something. You're not gonna be able to fit all that there.
Oh, then, okay. Okay.
You can test it and see how many characters you have there, and if you can come up with some text that might work, but it is definitely going to be limited. Otherwise, the button could be huge. I'm
Okay.
sure it's probably limited to 15 or 20 characters.
Sure. Is there a way to, for non-members to approve them before they pay?
No.
No. Okay.
You've got it payment in full in advance. You don't have it as immediate. Oh, yes, you do. You have it as immediate payment in full in advance. The only thing, you could do is change that to not require immediate payment. And then, go back and look at people who haven't paid, but the problem is it doesn't block them from making an immediate payment. So they could still register as a non-member and pay $45 and then realize later that they should have paid $35.
Well, and I'm the one catching it and fixing it. And then there's also they're paying $47 because there's the $2 convenience fee.
Right.
Okay. I guess we'll just, maybe if we have it happen again, we'll just have to do the red members, be sure to log in a few more times.
Yeah. And
I'm
maybe in your communications to the members, make sure in the communications to the members, I'm assuming you're sending out an email that registration is open.
Yeah.
Make sure you're communicating in that email in order to avoid the $2 transaction fee as well as the higher fee for a non-member. Make sure you are logged in, and the cost if you see anything other than $35, you're not logged in.
Yeah, that's if they read the message.
Exactly. Yeah.
Can I interject really quickly? Also, another organization that I've seen that came across this issue as well will change the name of their, if you can go to the back end of the event. and go to who can register. So they'll change their display name sometimes. So instead of it saying the display name non-members, it could say something like, please log in to attend, non-member fee $15 or non-member fee $45.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be an extra layer of defense.
Yeah. They're putting the price, I mean, the price does appear, but yeah, play around with it.
Okay,
Definitely
yeah.
play around with it. Again, same thing with the display name. There's a character limit. It's a larger character limit than the button,
Mhm.
but even still, what will happen is if it's too long, it's going to overlap into the price.
Sure. Yeah.
So it can't be too long.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Well, and we're not refunding the money anymore like we did in the past. I changed that because that just costs the agency, or, or the chapter money, because of the fees that, were charged. So I keep the credit on their account. So,
Yeah, when you refund, you're not getting charged back for the credit card refund. You're only getting the transaction fee for the credit card inbound, not outbound. So when you refund, you're not getting hit with another. But
Oh,
right,
okay.
there's no reason not to just keep the $10 credit. And in order for the member to get that $10 credit in their account, you have to merge the non-member profile with the member profile.
Yes.
Otherwise,
Yep.
that credit is just going to be sitting, and I'm glad you understand that for sure. But for anyone else, otherwise, that credit is just going to be sitting in the non-member profile, and the member is never going to get that $10 credit back onto their account. You don't want to give them the $2 convenience fee, obviously. There is no way to credit them for the $2 convenience fee that ClubExpress charges for a non-member to register. And that convenience fee of $2 is only if you're using ClubExpress's merchant account. If you're, most of NIGP chapters are using your own stripes, and there is not that non-member convenience fee if you're using your own stripe.
Ginny is asking in chat, how can we add an org admin button on our menu? I tried adding it to ours, but I can't make it appear on the home page.
So are you talking about, like here I have, when I'm logged in on this website, I have an admins button here.
Yes.
So this is only viewable to a specific member type.
Yeah.
So you would have to change the people that you want to see those. For instance, let's say it's you. You would go to the Washington State chapter, and you would have to create a member type. I'm glad that ClubExpress is working now again. You would have to add, let's see, you've got, you'd have to add a member type of admins, let's say.
Okay.
Okay, so then let's say you add that member type of admins, and I'm not going to do it. And then you would change yourself to an admin member type. And then you would, then you would create a menu that is only visible to admins. And you would create a new submenu called admins or something like that. And then only that member type, when they are logged in, will see that menu item.
Okay. See, I mean, you could see I started to prep it, but then I'm like, I can't see it. Why
Right.
is that? Because I tried to copy what you had last, a couple weeks ago. Okay, great. I will do that. I noticed that the last demo there on the attendance.
Let me just real quick. When you do create that menu type or that member type, you want to make sure that it is most likely that it's only visible to admin only, that nobody else can see that, and because otherwise they're going to join as an admin.
All right, sounds good. We'll make sure. So at the event earlier that you guys were just looking at, I noticed on their attendance, they have a button called attendance credit. I don't have that on ours. Is that a new thing, or was that supposed to be set up prior?
That's
'Cause
the
I ended
after
up-
event. You have to turn on after event. So
Okay.
which event is that for?
So I was trying to see if our future lunch and learns will have that, because we needed that for our, I ended up doing it like semi-manual on the last one. So I definitely want to do it in the upcoming.
So you're saying the attendance button?
Yeah, I noticed on the attendance, it said track attendance, yes, no, attendance credit, yes, no. We want to have that yes for the attendance credit, not just track attendance, but also get credit. I saw it in the registration and fees. Yeah, so see how it just says track attendance, but it doesn't say attendance credit.
Okay, let's see. And that, just give me a second here, that should be figure. I believe it's here.
Oh, there it is, sequence numbers.
No, that's a
Track
sequence
breaches,
number,
no?
so that's different.
Oh.
It's trying to remember where this is. Kaylee, help me out if you can remember. It might not,
I'm sorry.
it might be in options of the chapter instead of events. Let me see. Yeah, here we go.
Ah. Wonder
And
why
then-
we had it at no. That's strange.
So yeah, this is
Okay.
under the
Yeah, let's save that, please. That's awesome.
chapter option.
Gotcha.
And if you want to track attendance and then how many meetings per year are required of your members.
Okay.
So right now it's set to 0. Do you want it left at 0?
If we leave it at 0, what does that mean? Like it won't track anything at all?
No, it
But
should
if you-
still track. So let's see. So we
Okay.
turn that on, and if we go back to your event. Yeah, see now it appears. And
yes.
just turn it on
Okay.
to, yeah. I think the other, it would be some organizations do require their members to attend a specific number of events, and there's probably a
Okay.
report that says everybody that attended that specific number in the calendar year will show up on that report. But if you're not actually requiring a specific number, then you can leave it at 0 and it'll still appear here.
Awesome.
And then you can run reports under the event, not under the event, but under events. There are event reports, and those will be meeting attendance by member. As long as you're tracking, you got to make sure you're tracking, you're marking them as attended.
Correct. All right. I know the certificate button came up, later than before these events were created. As long as, again, it's before this event starts, like the May 5th one, we can add the certificate, right, in the after event button.
Yes,
area?
and actually, I added on another site when I was testing the certificate the week it came out. I added the certificate after an event. I turned on tracking of attendance after the event. Marked the people who I marked myself as attended because I wanted to test it, and I created the certificate, and the event was passed. So yes, it has
Good to
been
know.
working afterward.
Awesome.
I would go back to one that you've created or one that you've attended in the past, or even if you didn't attend it and you just want to sign yourself up as an admin, you can sign yourself up for an old event. As long as registration isn't closed. If you closed registration, you'll just have, even though, it's an event from a year ago, you may have closed registration. You'll just need to open up registration, register yourself, and then test it out. And then close registration again.
Okay, good to know. I will let my lunch and learn chair know about that because she thought we would have to do the old fashioned certificate. So that's great. Thank you so much for that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So Tinder, you have your hand up. Tinder, do you have a question? Well, we can move
You're
on
on
to
mute.
Arnita. Why don't you ask your question?
Hi. Um, I'm trying to determine if a field can be added to the member directory. I just added a bunch of commodity codes, and I would like to know if we can have that field added to the member directory search. And I'm from the Michigan chapter.
Okay, let's see. Michigan. Is this one Michigan Public? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And I put my name in as a test. I have 2 profiles.
Okay, so it's not an additional, oh, I hit the wrong one. Is it an additional member data question?
Yes, it says commodity experience.
Commodities experience, okay. And you're using which directory?
The member directory.
But not the
Yes, it's
business, right?
correct.
Okay. So let's see, we've got interest and this one I have to think about. Give me a second.
Okay.
So you're searching by interests. You would have to, unless you wanted to purchase, which you're not going to, most likely, want to have a custom directory created. You could have an interest. You could create an interest. Let's see. So that,
Excuse me. Is there any non-custom options?
yeah, I'm looking to see what we could do with that.
Okay.
So I've got the interest here, which is a test. Yeah, so you'd have to create an interest and have members. You can have in the member sign up, you can have members be required to answer the interests, which right
Okay.
now you've got this enabled that they see this when they join and they see
Okay.
it when they renew and they see it on their first login, but you don't even
Mhm.
have an interest. You have a test interest.
Okay.
But you could create that instead of using it as an additional member data question, you could
Mhm.
create it as an interest and they could, what is the answer? Let me see here.
Yeah, it's a long checklist.
So then what you would do is in your interest here under the test, this is the interest categories,
Hmm.
and you could add multiple. Let's just do one here. And sorry, what was your name again?
My name is Arnita, Arnita. Last name is Clark.
Clark. Okay. Oh, that's right. Let's see. Does it matter which one I pull over?
Wait a minute, let me take a
I'll do
peek.
both.
Okay.
Then control panel standard, search by interest. Oops. Okay, so that's how you could do it. So you'd have to, every single one of your additional member data, commodities experience, would have to be a separate interest. And then people could search by plumbing services or whatever. They can only search by one though at a time.
Okay, so I would have to do, instead of have a drop-down list like this, I have to create an interest for each one of these categories. Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. So like we would do, let's do this here. So we would rename this as, what was that? Commodities
Mhm.
experience.
Yes.
And now you can also limit the number if you see that, like maybe you decide you only want people to choose 5 options. You can limit that here. And
Okay.
then under the commodities experience, we would name, I don't want to do the test because you got 48 people in there, but you would name each one of these a different name.
Okay.
And so then in the interest of some, or in the directory, switch to view. In the directory, commodities experience, academics high. So the only bad thing is it's going to have commodities experience as the first words of all of them, but then you could search by this.
Okay. All right. Okay.
But like I said, right now you have it turned on that people are given this, are brought to the interest page when they first log in, when they join, and when they renew. And so that's why you've got a lot of people hitting that test that you had there.
Okay. So,
And you can remove all of those people at once. When you get it set up and you're ready and you want me to take a look at it, I can take a look at it. But what you'll want to do is you can, like I said, you can remove everybody at once by going to the members, and then you should be able to just hit this here and it'll move everybody from over here to here.
okay. And I think you indicated that interest for the member size only pops up when they're doing a new membership and when they renew, and then there was a third category
On first login.
and first login. Okay, so what we're doing, we're trying to we using this as a member feature to help the buyers communicate with other buyers across agencies. Oh, so and most of everyone, they did their first login already. They did they've been members for a while. So we're trying to get them to go in to update their profile
Yeah, as an
with that
admin.
information.
Yeah, as an admin, I don't have a profile. As an admin for all of the NIGP, I don't have a profile, but you have a profile and you can go to your interests in your profile. It's right here. So
Right,
you
for
could
me.
send out a communications, once it's set up, you could send out a communications to the members to go into their profile, click on interests, and then they'll be able to click any of the interests that they want to click on to be added.
Okay, so we do that. That doesn't restrict them to new member login, renewal. They could do it anytime.
Correct. They can do it anytime. It's just this, by turning on the first login, you definitely want to have it as new members because when somebody joins, you definitely want them to check their interests off, and even renewals, because at the renewal time, it prompts them to double check their interests that they signed up for. Maybe they want to
Okay.
remove some or add some,
Okay, but it's available anytime they go in
but it's
under
available
interest.
anytime in their profile.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, thank you so much. So I just have to create a interest for each commodity.
Right. So
Okay.
you would just go to the people tab, interests. Right
Mm-hmm.
now it is set for public and members only. Your
Mm-hmm.
directory is members only. That's what the M and the P stand for. P
Okay.
means that it's public facing as well. It
Uh-huh.
really doesn't matter because your directory is only for members only.
Okay.
So the public can't see your directory.
Mm-hmm.
But you just click on the interests and here's the category. Click on this here to add
Mm-hmm.
all of the individual ones.
Okay. Now, if I wanted to make the interest for members only, how can that be done?
Any of the modules back here
Uh-huh.
can be changed. The visibility can be changed by clicking on the tab that you're looking for, the configure,
Mm-hmm.
and then the interests right here. You just click
Uh-huh.
on that and you change the visibility to members only and then
Oh,
hit.
okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
And Ginny is asking that if it's understanding that if someone signs up for an interest, that someone gets notified. Is that true?
Well, let's see. We can set a coordinator. So setting coordinators for interests is the same. You go to the configure interests, and then here you can hit coordinators. And right now, Anita, Valerie, and Michelle are coordinators. Anita,
Mm-hmm.
I would test that out. Let's see
Okay.
and see if you got. Let's see interest options here. Yes, notify on membership change. So what you want to do here is if you want to be notified,
Mm-hmm.
you can change this to yes. Now, it used to be, I think they just changed this. You used to only one person could be notified, but I think now ClubExpress is allowing any of the coordinators to be notified.
Okay.
So it used to be, if I'm not mistaken, it used to be you would pick one person to be notified, but now it looks like they've removed that, and now any of the coordinators will be notified. Anyone you sign up as a coordinator is going to be notified. So you might want to limit who the coordinators are in case you think that people are going to get upset if there's multiple coordinators that people are getting notified. But anyway, so you can change this here to notify them when somebody joins, leaves, or expires and drops. That's their membership expires.
Okay. I have another question. What
Mhm.
does that use accordion for category? What does that mean?
It should just be in your profile, just the way it looks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay.
Instead
Okay.
of when you open this, it would just have the full list. Sorry about that. It would have the full list. It might be better not to use the accordion because people might not realize that they need to check this to see all the lists, to see the list of all the options.
Yes, I agree. I agree. So I do not want the accordion. Yeah.
Yeah, we can just go real quick back in here and undo that.
All right. Thank you.
Mhm.
So Tinder, thank you for your patience.
I do want to go back
now?
to I want to go back to interest one more time. You can also set up communications forums based on interest membership.
Oh,
I don't know if
great.
it's
Okay.
something you want to do, but you
Yes.
can set up, you can have, so that one was academics, I think. When
Mm-hmm.
you set up a forum based on interests, you will choose that. Let's see, how can I explain this? Add a forum, and here the membership is going
Mm-hmm.
to be interest members
Okay.
and interest members of this forum. So you
Okay.
could do this for every single one of the commodities that you set up. And then they can communicate amongst, you can send out emails through the forum to the members of the interest group.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that's going to be great. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Satinder.
Hi, can you hear me okay? I'm just
Mhm.
kind of, yeah, okay. So I had a, because you know our chapter is relatively new than others' questions that I was viewing, so I'm a little nervous asking those basic questions again and again. So it's my question is about the memberships. Recently, because it's the first year we launched this, I have noticed that there's only like maybe 50% of the members have paid the registration if I go click, but like I don't know the actual like the good report to pull out to see how many members have paid and how many have not paid yet. So if I have the report, maybe there's a communication like in the email. I can also like this question is like two questions. So first I want to see the report, the best report to pull, and this because there's so many. I click and it's hard making decision unless I'm told to do this way. This is better. And the second, I would want to have an email communication to the members that didn't pay, although they do get the automatic 3 times to renew themselves. But just because I'm thinking it's the first time, maybe people are hesitant. Maybe touching base once more would help. Yeah, I have 2 more questions, but yeah, I'll go one by one.
And you're Alberta, right?
Yeah, Alberta chapter, yeah.
Okay, so let's see. There's a couple of ways you can look and see who has not paid. First of all, I think your memberships, let's see what your membership. Okay, so here I went to the people tab, hit the members and expired only. All of these members expired. And if you don't see maybe you just want to look at primary. You can also drill down to the member level and choose primary only. You don't need to necessarily look at all the secondary members because they're not going to get an invoice. They're not going to get a notification that it's time for them to renew. The primary gets that. So you have 20 people. So that's one way. So now you know that these 20 people have not renewed and they expired. And here's one that expired 1/1/2025, which is odd because all your other ones are 12/31/2025. So if for some reason, if you decide you want to change this to be consistent with everybody else, you would click on the pencil icon for that person, and then you'd go to the expiration join date, and you would just change it to 12/31/2024. Do you want me to do that?
Oh, so this one is done wrong. Like it should be ended at the same time as others. That was my second question, how to change the membership dates. So this
Yeah,
should
so
be good at the end of this year. Yeah, 2020.
it should be 12/31/2024.
Five. So like she has paid this year and the past year as well, but I don't know how at this time the setting up it was screwed. I don't know how.
Oh, so she has paid? Let's look.
Yeah, she
Transaction
has
history.
paid.
And it defaults to 12 months. Okay, so on 12/31, she signed up and paid. And okay, so yeah,
She
we just
paid in
need to.
March of 2025.
So she paid on 12/31/2024.
No, she paid in
Oh,
yeah, so in March of
okay, so
2025
she
for this
created the
year.
invoice she created the invoice. So let's just go in here. So you're just going to change her expiration date to 12/31/2025 and hit save.
Okay, perfect.
And now she's gone, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So now she's no longer expired.
Okay, I have one
Okay.
more such like that too, like Joe. I can't see it now. So we have somehow 2 Joes in the system, Joe Rollheisers, and similar issue. The date he also paid, and there's an issue with the dates.
Okay, let's look at him in a second. First, let's talk about communicating with these people who have expired. So this is one way you can do it. You can go to the members, expired primaries. There's 19 people here. And if you wanted to send them a communication, you can do it a couple ways. This is the way that I find it to be the easiest. If you want to send them a communication personally through your own email or an email address that's outside of ClubExpress, you can export this list to a CSV, and the list is going to include their email address, and then you can send them an email saying, please log in and renew. If you decide that you want to send them an email through ClubExpress, you can create a new mailing list with these results, and you would just hit create And then maybe you'd want to do expired 2024 and save that. And then, so there are 19, it says, right? So now when we go to the control panel back here and we go to communications and we want to send them an email, and we add an emailing, and we're going to choose distribution list. It's going to be, you're going to go in here and just get rid of that and type in category. So it's going to be everyone in a selected, members in a selected category. And the category is expired 2024. I just created that list. And when I add that and I save, it's going to tell me 19. That's interesting. That should have 19 people in there. 19 people found. It could be that maybe the syncing is taking a little bit of time. So we'll go back to look at that in a second. Although, let's see. See here, it says 19. Oh, I think I know what I did. Everyone in a selected category. Expired 2024. Add. Okay, you saw the list had 19. It has to be something with syncing. I haven't seen it take this long, but we can come back to that in a few minutes. Let's save and close that. Okay, so we will look at that in a few minutes, and let's go back to your people that you said you had another. Let's add last name. And what was the Joe?
Rollheiser, R-O-L-L-H.
R-O-L-L-H?
E-H-E-I-S-E-R. Yeah, somehow there are two Joes and their expiration days are different. And they're not right. Both of them should be at good till end of this year again.
Well, this one's 2035.
I don't know how that happened. Like, why would it be? Maybe he was given a lifetime at some point. He did paid and renewed as well.
And he's never had a transaction. So somebody put him in there with that. And he was not part of the initial upload, most likely. Was he an admin? Was he a president at one point?
No, he was a long-time member, but he decided not to renew. I think that's when this website was created, and afterwards first he didn't want to renew, and then later he added himself as a new member this year.
And your membership types? So lifetime is zero cost, and it's a 60-month membership. It looks like probably what happened was at one point he was added as a lifetime member, which gave him 60 months. And then maybe somebody changed his member type to an individual. That could be what happened. But regardless of that, he paid here.
Yeah, the second one is paid.
So he signed up and paid. So his membership should be expiring in 12/31/2025.
Yes.
But it's not.
Yeah.
Your memberships are supposed to expire on the last day of the month, right? They're not rolling renewals?
So I don't know about the rolling renewals, but they are set up to the calendar year. So they should be done at the end of 2025. But then they do get the 3 times notice until March. But because this website was new and it got created after the new year, so somewhere after June we will change it to December or
Yeah, so you're going to go in here and change that to January or December 31st or January 1st. Okay, so for him, you just want to change him now. So
first merge them two, like merge them together because there shouldn't be.
yeah, so first we're gonna change his expiration date to 31/20. Okay, so we fixed that now. And then we're going to drop him. Let's expire him. And because I don't want him to get a notification that he's expired, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to remove his email address. And then we're going to expire him. And now that we've expired him, we're going to convert him to a non-member. And now if I search for his last name as both members and non-members, I have him in here as a non-member active and a member active. And now I can merge his non-member profile with his member profile. You can only merge a non-member with a member. You can't merge two members. So you have to, if you've got two duplicate members, you've got to get the one member down to a non-member in order to merge the profiles.
Okay, sounds good.
And then save. And now it really didn't matter because his other profile didn't have any transaction history or anything, but maybe if he had event history, we didn't check event history, but it's still better, practice to have your database as clean as possible. So definitely want to merge them. Plus you don't want to have a whole bunch of duplicates, because if you send an email to all members and all non-members, he would have gotten the email twice if his email were in his profile, his non-member profile.
Okay. We only had one event so far, but he wasn't registered at the time. He came as a guest, so.
Okay.
So
Now
he doesn't
let's take a quick look. I know other people have questions, but let's take a real quick look just to see if that email is saying 19 yet. And it's still not. So I'm going to put a flag on this and look at this later and see what's wrong with it. And I will get back to you, Satinder, on that one. But this is a real easy way to do it, a real quick way to do it. I don't know why it's not working right now, but I've done this many, many times and it works. Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Anita, you have another question?
Yes, I do. So I was curious, we have like the tier memberships, and I wanted to know if there's a report, if I go to that primary, because the primary lists everyone that's under that tier, is there a way to generate a report from clicking onto that primary that shows everyone that's associated with that account?
And I apologize. Which group are you with again?
Michigan.
Michigan. Do you have a name for an example?
Yes. Last name is Crawford.
So this here will, if you click on this little icon, it would have all of the names, and you could obviously just, grab a screenshot or copy all and get that. Same in their profile if you click here, but there is a export that you can run. So there's nothing here that you can run like a report, but
Okay.
you can go to your control panel, chapter tab.
Wait a minute.
Data
Control
export.
pad. I'm sorry. I'm trying to catch up with you. You said you went to the control panel.
Mm-hmm. Chapter
Okay.
tab.
Chapter.
Data export.
Data export. Okay.
And this little caret down, you want active members with secondaries and tertiaries. And you can
Yes.
run this report and it will say, I think you said the first name was, or the last name was Crawford. I can't remember. I'm sorry.
Correct. That's correct.
it'll have that person's name and, you know, column B and C or whatever, first name, last name. And then if you keep scrolling along the database, the spreadsheet, it'll have all of the secondary members that are assigned with that person.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Have any more questions? I don't see any hands up. We are about 2 minutes towards the hour, so we have definitely filled it. I definitely appreciate you all coming. We will do this again in 2 weeks' time. So please don't hesitate to bring your questions. You can also reach out to Yvonne and Kaylee at nigp@acclaimpros.net. And we will see you guys again in 2 weeks' time. Thank you so much for coming.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, Yvonne. Bye, Ron.